I just want to say that this meal is dedicated, this Hilula is dedicated La'ili Nishmas, Reb Shloime and Reb Yomen Philipson. He was here last year with us, celebrated. He was sitting right here. We enjoyed his company. We miss his presence. We miss his midas service. May Hashem help. It should be a source for him. He should be bound up with tzaddikim amitiyim up on high. Enjoy dinner. Thank you. The Rebbe says there are neshamas that are asleep, and they're asleep for a long time. And the only way you wake them up is to possibly say stories like the Gemara says. Agadata is a lot. The most mysterious passages in Gemara and Talmud, and the most hidden concepts are in Agadata. And the Rebbe created his stories, his Sipurim Isis. So Rabbi Yaakov Klein, I forgot to mention this earlier, he printed the Sefer, his teachings, an entire Sefer just on the Lost Princess. His organization is the Lost Princess Initiative. It's a curriculum teaching people, having them understand concepts of Rabbeinu, Yiddishkeit, and bringing people back into the fold. So we're very lucky. He ran out of print, but he shared with us some starting here. So whoever wants, you can buy one if there is any available, and hopefully he's going to restock soon. I would like to call upon Reb Chaim Kramer, Ziknei Anshe Shleimenu. He's been at this for so long. I knew you'd love that. I had to put that in there for you. Ziknei Anshe Shleimenu, to wake us up. We're here to be woken up. I can say myself, I'm one of those neshamas that's asleep, and the Rebbe and Reb Nosson are doing a tremendous job on me and trying to wake me up. So hopefully the words of Reb Chaim will be also a part of waking up and living a true life.
Good evening. My mother, Shalom, said to me once, she'd like to be my alma mater, so that she could hear the words of eulogy that people say about her. I want to thank Shmuel Zeitlin and Yaakov Klein for wonderful eulogies. I heard it. Thank you. I don't know where to begin. Certainly can't see what the end will be. But I'll start with this. When I wrote the book From Fire and Water, which is a Nosson's biography, I had no idea where I was going with it. I just collected all the information that was available. And I spent a few months with Reb Nosson trying to figure out what his life was all about, trying to feel the power of Reb Nosson. When I finished the book, I sat there and I said, thank you, Hashem. These few months were my olam haba. Living with Reb Nosson, breathing Reb Nosson, thinking Reb Nosson, everything was great. And I have to tell you, Hashem, that after these few months, I have absolutely no idea who Reb Nosson was. Absolutely no idea. To fathom such a person who put all his koyach and his energy into being a Talmud, not a Rebbe, to be a Talmud, it's just the most awesome type of a thought. Don't I want to be the top? Isn't that what everyone say? I want to make the most money. I want to be the biggest Talmud Chacham. I want to be the best Davener. But nothing, no. That's the Rebbe. That's Rabbi Nachman's message. Me, I want to be a Talmud. Rabbi Nachman actually taught this. I heard this from Rabbi Nachman Boshkin, according to the Rabbi. Said, the Rebbe says in Chaim Moran, a lot of tzaddikim started certain things. Go back and take a look. Which Hasidus today goes back to the Baal Shem Tov? You have Chabad, you have Karlin, and nobody else. Nobody else. There's no other Hasidus today that could trace itself back to the Baal Shem Tov. Right? The Rebbe said a lot of tzaddikim started things. I mean, these tzaddikim were awesome. The Rebbe Rabbi Elimelech, the Rebbe Rabbi Zusha, Chozim Lublin, Kozan Tzamagid, and so on and so forth. But where are the payers from that? The Rebbe said, I want a Zachto, but I want my Talmidim should make Talmidim. And those Talmidim should make more Talmidim. Those Talmidim should keep on making Talmidim. So Rabbi Boshkin pointed out Talmidim, not Rebbes. So we don't have Rebbes in Breslov. Some people say, listen, you're not a Hasidus without a Rebbe. You have 1,000 Rebbes in Breslov. Everyone puts himself up. Right? Everyone puts himself up like I could teach and I'm the guy and I, right? Forget about that. That's not Talmud. We need to be Talmud. So what are we supposed to learn? As a Talmud, what am I supposed to learn? Right? The Rebbe says, the Rebbe says that every day you have to have 3 conversations. You have to have a conversation with the tzaddik. You have to have a conversation with a friend, talk about the tachlis, and you have to have a conversation with Hashem. Where do you have a conversation with the Rebbe? Where? The Rebbe says, Tarakuf Tzaddik Beis, that part of the Shmosoi, the Sichle Shel HaTzaddik, is found in his Svarim. The face, the neshama, the intelligence of the tzaddik is found in the sefer. Speak the words of the sefer. When you say the words of the Rebbe, you repeat the words. If it's Sichos Aran, if it's Kutam Aran, if it's Pur Maisios, whatever it is, what you're doing is you're looking and speaking to Rabbi Nachman. That's great. It's a great thing. But could you really understand Rabbi Nachman? Could you really fathom what the person was? Nosson writes in Yemei Marnav, it was Tak Sameches, 1808. Nosson writes, it was now that I began to realize that the Rebbe, Rabbi Nachman, is a Rebbe for the entire world. Rabbi Nachman is a Rebbe for the entire world. I just began to realize it now. This was some 6 years after Rabbi Nosson became a Guru. And he was 6 years in Talmud. I'm learning from a Rebbe. To grasp the greatness of Rabbi Nachman was something that took Rabbi Nosson time to understand. Now, when you think about that, you try and figure out the greatness of Rabbi Nachman and the greatness of Rabbi Nosson. To fathom such a Rebbe. The Pasuk says in Yeshaya, "Oil alvono ki oil achama, the oil achama yihiyeh shenosayim." The light of the moon, when Mashiach comes, will shine like the light of the sun. And the light of the sun will then be 7 times greater than it is today. Rebbe says, well, let's ask ourselves a question. Can anyone here look directly at the sun and not burn their eyes? Can anyone look and see and grasp what the sun is all about? Can't. You go blind, right? Rabbi Nosson, on the other hand, was the Levana. Rabbi Nachman was the sun. He shines into the moon. Rabbi Nosson was able to reflect everything that Rabbi Nachman stood for. So V'hoya or Alpana, when by us, we will understand and grasp that Rabbi Nosson, the moon, is like the sun, is like the light of the sun, because I cannot see the sun without the lens of Rabbi Nosson. So if I look at Rabbi Nosson as being my light, my guiding light, right, then I will begin to grasp what the light of the sun is all about. And when we all grasp that, so then the light of Rabbi Nachman, that we think we know something about him, then it will shine 7 times greater. It'll be that much greater. That light that will take on the entire world. The Rebbe will be a Rebbe for the entire world. This is just an introduction to the way I feel about Rabbi Nosson. Let me tell you 2 little stories. I just got last week 2 emails. One is from some lady. She went to a doctor somewhere in California, and the doctor recommended that she read the book, The Empty Chair. Those of you who know of that book, it's a small collection, short, very pithy collection of Rabbi Nachman's teachings. Where can I get more of this? I'm a non-Jew. That's what she writes. But the book is amazing. It spoke to me. Some guy in California, right? I don't know which is more Yiddish, the guy or California, whatever. Then I got another email. Guy writes, I'm a non-Jew. But somehow I found the book of Rabbi Nachman. And I gotta have more of this. I'm a Noahide. You know, he keeps the Shev Mitzvah. Says, what books of Rabbi Nachman am I allowed, permitted to read in order to come closer to Hashem? This is Rabbi Nachman, a Hasidic Rebbe who lived in the late 18th century, speaking to Western civilization, if you call it civilization, but speaking to Western civilization now in the 21st century. The Rebbe for everyone. The Rebbe will. We once got a letter from Japan, Tokyo, Japanese guy. I found writing about one of Rabbi Nachman's books. Where can I get more of this and whatnot? The stories of where we get letters from, whatnot. We had one of my first letters was from Window Rock, Arizona. Anyone know where that is? No hands? It's on the border between Arizona and New Mexico. It's in the middle of the Navajo Indian Reservation. But they asked us for more books from Rabbi Nachman. Right? Helen. Okay, let's get down to business. Right? All this is due to Rabbi Nosson. Rebbe said, had it not been for Rabbi Nosson, not one page of my writings would have remained. Not one page. And the world has been taken over with Rebbe. Literally. Someone told me when they had remember 9/11? Anyone here remember 9/11? Right? So they made a memorial a few weeks later to the victims. Right? The Reform rabbi got up and said, Rabbi Nachman of Breslov said, the world is a very narrow bridge. The main thing is not to be afraid. Right? This is at a memorial. Okay. Rabbi Nosson, I can't begin. I could say this maybe. I have a shir te'alochos every day. And I've been through the Sefer, the full 8 volumes, many times. And every day I learn it. And every day I say, Hashem, there was nobody like Reb Nosson. Every day. I see things now. I've been through the Sefer, I don't know how many times. And there's nobody like Reb Nosson. The things he comes out with, the things that he says, he explains, he encourages. He tells you what life is all about. He tells you that this is the way it is. Yes, there are hardships. There are hardships in life, right? But know that you can overcome. You are able and you are capable of fulfilling your life, of having a great life. Yeah, it's difficult, right? I can tell you some of my problems I had in life, not your business or whatever. Point is that we all go through different things. I was at a shir a few years ago, 3 years ago exactly, in Chicago. One kid starts asking me, what do you do about trauma? Does Rabbi Nachman speak about trauma? Right, it's the biggest thing in the world today. Psychologists, they're all talking trauma, everything is trauma, childhood trauma. You went from. I says, all of Rabbi Nachman's teachings teach you how to overcome trauma. He says, how do you know? Did you ever experience it? He told me. I said, yeah, 3 weeks ago I buried my eldest daughter, which is true. Rabbi, that was it. There was no more conversation after that. But Rabbi Nachman speaks to you and he tells you how to do it. How? Learn the Kutei Halachos. Learn the Kutei Halachos. What's the Kutei Halachos? Rabbi Nachman told Rabbi Nosson, take the teaching of Hasidus, take a halacha, a set of halachas, an idea in halacha, and put them together. Because the halacha is the body of Yiddishkeit. It's our bodies. It's what we live with. We get up with, wake up in the morning, put on talis and tefillin, daven, Shabbos, whatever it is. It's the body of halacha. It's the body of Yiddishkeit. But where is the soul of Yiddishkeit? Reb Nosson took the Rebbe's Torahs, he put it into Halakutei Halachos, and we have now an 8-volume set of Halakutei Halachos that explains every single idea in Yiddishkeit. Whether it's halacha Shulchan Aruch, whether it talks about Shmita, the other halachos that are not shayach today. Reb Nosson tells us the chiyus, the life. People go through life existing, right? They're born, they grow up, they get married, they have children, they work, they die, they existed. You can live a life. Reb Nosson tells you how. Let's take one simple example. Halachas of Kriya Shema, the Gemara in Shabbat, the Gemara in Brachos, Yud Gimel, the Gemara tells us, Shema. What's the word Shema? Right? Gemara says, Hashmeya lo'oznecha ma she'ata motzi mipicha. Let your heart hear, and let your ears hear what your mouth is saying. You're saying, Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad, let your ears hear it. Zoya says, Shmiya b'liba tell you. Listening depends on your heart. A lot of people say things. I'm hard of hearing now, Baruch Hashem. I reached that age. And I went for hearing aids. The doctor says, I can give you the hearing aids and it'll help you hear. Do you want them? I said, I'm not so sure that I want to hear everything that people tell me, right? Your heart has to be able to receive what your ears are hearing. Second shot, the Gemara says, Shema. Why Shema? B'chol loshen shata shemeya. Any language that you hear, that you speak, you could say Shema. You speak Hebrew, good. Speak English, French, Japanese, Swahili. You know the language, you can say Shema in that language. Rabbi Nosson tells us they're both one shot. If you let your heart hear what you're saying by Shema Yisrael, then b'chol loshen shata shemeya, you believe that Hashem exists and Hashem is here and Hashem is our God, we can relate to Him, then anything that you hear during the day, you'll be able to relate to Hashem. Imagine that. Amazing, huh? Anything that you hear, if you believe Hashem echad, Shmoy echad, then you'll be able to feel and hear Hashem in anything. Doesn't matter. You're in business, you're entertaining, whatever the case may be, you're going to be able to feel Hashem in whatever it is that you do. This is what Likutei Halacha is made of. That's only a few lines on one page, right? It's 8 volumes, double-sided, double columns, right? And this is a few lines in one piece of Likutei Halacha. And there's so many others. It's just murder. Who can come forth with a sefer like the Likutei Halacha if not someone of the caliber of Rabbi Nosson? Because he was a Talmud. He was a Talmud that was able to take his Rebbe's teachings and reflect them and bring them down to our level that we today, 177 years after Rabbi Nosson was nifter, we are able to partake of what Rabbi Nachman was trying to do with us. Furthermore, Rabbi Nosson wrote Likutei Tfilos. He took the Torahs of Likutei Moran and he wrote call it a commentary on the lesson. What's the commentary? He takes the lesson and turned it into a prayer. We said before, communication. You have to communicate with your Rebbe. You have to communicate with a friend. You have to communicate with Hashem. Says Rabbi Nosson, you know how far I am from you. You know how distant. You would think that Rabbi Nosson was the worst person in the world, the way he writes his feelings. But I want to come close to you. I don't ever want to give up whatever it is that I can do. I want to keep on going and accomplish something, whatever years that I have left. This is Rabbi Nosson. He was able to take anything that he studied and turn it into a prayer to Hashem, to connect with Hashem. Listen, Pei Dalet in the second part of Likutei Moran, the Rebbe says, the main attachment to Hashem is through tefillah. It's vacant because it's my nefesh. It's my inner core. It's my heart that's calling out to you, Hashem. So I'm making a connection that has absolutely no equal in the entire world. That's the Likutei Tfilos. By the way, Breslov Research is now in the process of reprinting the Likutei Halacha with English, with English facing Hebrew translation, or is it the English translation facing the Hebrew? But whatever it is, right? The Likutei Tfilos is going to be 4 volumes. We hope it'll be finished by June this year, right? One of the things about Breslov Research is we never made a deadline yet, but we hope it'll be finished by June in Yetzer Hashem. Anyone who wants to join, there are 100 opportunities, about or less than 100 opportunities left to dedicate a tefillah of your choice, $50 a month, 20 months, and you're zoicha to have a chelik in Reb Nosson's Likutei Tefillos that will come out to the world. That's the importance of the Likutei Tefillos. This Reb Nosson wrote the halachas, the Likutei Tefillos. He wrote other things, right? What he did was brought down Rabbi Nachman's Torah to reflect his part as a Talmud in order to be able to help us partake of what the Rebbe's light is all about. This is Reb Nosson. Not that this was Reb Nosson, this is Reb Nosson, right? He's still doing it today. The Zohar says that what a tzaddik used to occupy himself with in this world, he occupies himself with this after he passes away. So Reb Nosson's entire idea is to bring people to understand Rabbi Nachman's teachings in order for us to come close to Hashem, make Hashem part of our lives. One of the most riveting stories, at least to me, is from Reb Nosson Shimei Ma'anav. I read it, how many years ago? 62 years ago, something like that. Reb Nosson writes in his autobiography, it was 1807. He was by his father-in-law in Molov, which was quite a distance from Breslov. He spent most of the winter there. And that summer, Rabbi Nachman went on a trip to Lvov, Lemberg, it was then Brody, other places, Zaslav. And Rabbi Nachman was going there for Shavuos. Shavuos was one of the times that the Talmidim used to gather by Rabbi Nachman. Rosh Hashanah, Shabbos Chanukah, and Shavuos. So Rabbi Nachman was going west, northwest, away from the area, and Molov as itself was distant from Breslov. How much further would be Zaslav and Brody and so on? Reb Nosson had many doubts. His father-in-law was the chief rabbi of the entire area, Kamenets-Podolsk area in Ukraine at that time. And his father-in-law was one of the most respected poskim of the generation. And Reb Nosson was there. How could I leave my father-in-law for Shavuos? If I wasn't here, I wasn't here, but I'm here. How could I walk away from him for a few weeks to go to Malta, to go to Zaslav, and whatnot? But he knew he had to go. He had to be by Rabbi Nachman for Shavuos. So he starts traveling. He didn't have the money, he collected the money, borrowed the money, started traveling. He's on the road, and he's in a big wagon. You know, there's no, what do they call it, Toyotas or whatever they call it in those days. Horse and buggy. He's with his big buggy, and he's got only 3 horses in front of him. What happened to the 4th horse? The horse got sick on the road until it came to Molov. So now it's the horsepower went down. The horsepower was cut. They get to the city where the horse was left. They find out, he writes there, Mazel Tov, the horse died. So now I'm stuck here and I won't get to where I need to be for Shabbos in order to be able to join the guys who are traveling to Zaslav for Shavuos. I was so brokenhearted. Sure, Nosson writes. I just said, Ribono Shel Olam, send me a horse and buggy with 4 horses that I can get to Breslov in time in order to leave with the Chaver for Shavuos. And I broke down and I started crying. They got to the city where the horse died, right? Rabbi, who knows what. And the wagon driver comes over to him and says, Nosson, Hashem answered your prayer. I was just, taking care of my other horses with feed and whatnot. And there's a wagon leaving right now from here to Breslov. 4 horses, it'll get you where you gotta go. This story made a tremendous impression on me because several things I learned from there. One, Chazal say, there's nothing that should stop you, that could stop you if you really want, if you really desire. You have no idea how powerful your desire is, right? Even if you can't talk, if you're in the mikveh undressed and you want to scream out to Hashem, you can't. You're not allowed. But the desire to call out to Hashem is there. And you can always cry out from your heart. Rabbi Nosson was so brokenhearted, he said, Hashem, I need a miracle. I need such a means of transportation. Hashem said, okay, you got it. Did anyone ever daven that way? Did any of us ever sit down and say, Hashem, I need this, I want this, I have to have this. Please bring me closer to you. Did any of us ever really do that before? The Nosson, the tefillah, the things that Rabbi Nosson taught us. This one little story made such an impression on me. And Baruch Hashem, I used it. If I may tell you a story from my life, it's okay? Yeah, you won't throw me out? Yeah? Okay. Thumbs up. Okay. I was 16 and a half years old. It was shortly after the Cuban crisis, which I'm sure nobody here remembers, right? When Cuba had all the missiles from Russia and whatnot. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to offend you. You remember, okay. Okay. So I said, Gewalt Rebbeinu Shloim. Then we didn't have Uman, but we had Eretz Yisrael. I said, imagine what would happen. This is Mashiach is coming. In atomic war, Mashiach is coming, and I'm going to be without the mitzvah of Eretz Yisrael. I gotta go. So I decided I was going, right? This is 1962, when people who made money, working people, did not travel so fast to Eretz Yisrael. I said, I'm going. My family looked at me, I'm crazy. And really, the guy has to be locked up. He's nuts. Oh, wait. I said, I'm going. I worked a little bit, got some money to get, whatever. And then my family started getting on top of me. Hey, what do you think you want? None of us were in Eretz Yisrael before. Only my grandfather, who was retired, had gone. But the rest, who goes, who travels, who has that kind of money, right? And they started ganging up on me. Anyway, it came the time when I had to bring the money the next day. I don't have a penny in my pocket yet. I'm on my way home from the yeshiva that night, and I say, Hashem, I'm going. I want to go. I need to go. I can go. I will go, based on Hashem. And I felt I had the money in my pocket. Except when I came home, my entire family was there. Aunts, uncles, grandparents, whatever. We're all there. They sat me down on the couch in the corner. They all sat around me like Sanhedrin. Sanhedrin used to sit, in a half moon. And, okay, what's this? You want to go there? What do you mean? You want the mitzvah? Who ever heard of that? I want the mitzvah of going to Eretz Yisrael before Mashiach was born. What's going on here? So the family was on my tail for about 20 minutes. And I said, Hashem, this is going nowhere. It's not going anywhere. Tell you what, I want to cry. I sat there and I said, Hashem, I want to cry. They're talking to me, I'm talking to Hashem, right? Hashmeya le'osmecha, nothing went in. Hashem, I want to cry, I want to cry. This went on for about 10 minutes. Then I started crying. They were all looking at me. He's crying. Whatever's going on, I don't know what happened, but they all walked out. And I was crying. And I said, Hashem, the Gemara says, even if the gates of Tefillah are closed, Sharei Dumoy Sloim Nalo, the gates of tears are never closed. Now that I'm crying, I want to go to Eretz Yisrael. 5 minutes later, the family walks back in with a check. And I had my check to go to Eretz Yisrael. When was the last time? I'm such a fool. I didn't do this my whole life. But whatever. Baruch Shalom, he knows. There were other times, Baruch Hashem, I had tefillahs. They were answered. How many of us ever realized the potency of prayer? How much we could accomplish if we really daven? Did we ever try? How do we know that? From Rabbi Nosson. That little story about Rabbi Nosson spoke without the horse and whatnot, right? Right? Today people use the horse as aqueduct, right? Kentucky Derby, it's not to get to the Rebbe. We use it to get to the Rebbe, right? Our point is that there is so much that we can accomplish, and we learn it from Rabbi Nosson. Rabbi Nosson taught us that there's no end to what you could accomplish if you only want. If you only want to accomplish. Your koyach harotzon is the greatest koyach in the world. Nobody can ever take that away from you. Right? Rabbi Chaim Rosh, according to the Rocham, when he was in prison under Stalin in 1935, he was near a window, and there was somebody, Getzel, the woman, he was the head of the Oidim. He was also in prison at the time. Rabbi Chaim used to say he was standing by the window of the cell that he was in. And he hears the guy muttering outside while he's shoveling the snow. Right? He was forgetting they had to clean the yard. He had to clean the yard. So he took the shovel and he's taking it, and then he would throw the snow over to the side, right? Clearing the path, right? And he would be muttering, Yesh Inin Shenishapech HaKol L'Toiv. It's a time when everything is turned over to the good. Here's a man who was in prison under Stalin. He never returned, Rahman al-Tzlan, Shem Yimkan Domoy. But he's shoveling the snow and he's thinking of Hashem. He's attached to Hashem, right? It's now winter. We have a lot of opportunities coming up, right? Everything can turn over for the good, right? Where did we learn that from? Rabbi Nosson. Rabbi Nosson teaches us how to live a life. You never give up. You're really close to Hashem. You're attached to Hashem. You'll be with Hashem. You'll feel Hashem, as we heard earlier about Shmoy, shame, being attached to yourself to the Shekhinah. Yes, we could be attached, but try it. You'll like it. You're about the only one who remembers that advertisement, right? Yeah, okay. Right, Alka-Seltzer, right? Try it, you'll like it. Whatever. The kids are, whatever happens, it's from Nosson who brings us out. The potency of prayer, right? With that, I'm going to introduce our latest book, The Potency of Prayer. It's a commentary on the Siddur. Why we say what we say, what the customs are and whatnot. It's based mostly on the Nosson. It's rather Nosson. It's a sefer Utrecht Hatfilah that explains what the davening is all about. is put all together, then we can have a greater appreciation of what tefillah is all about. And that's the good tefillahs that Rabbi Nosson brought out. That's the halachas to teach us what powers we have, what our power of Nosson is. May Hashem help that the schus of Rabbi Nosson be with us at all time, and that we remember that there is a Rebbeinu Shalom, never forget him, never separate from him, that we should be zeicher to do tshuva shlema and see the B'yas of Real Tzedek, may it be a reign of Amen.